Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Play Arts Kai Man of Steel #1 Superman. I recently picked this up from, I picked this up from Big Bad Toy Store, so I'm going to provide the link down below. It was one of these figures that I just had a tough time finding. I checked out my local comic book stores, and at least locally, I couldn't find them. So I picked them up from Big Bad Toy Store, and I don't know if I'm actually going to pick up Zod or not. Zod is for me, if I'm going to get anyone from the movie property, I'm going to be really just looking for Superman figures. On the front is an actual nice lit image of the Superman figure. Now, questionably for me, is what's really going to kill this figure for me is the head. Pictures of the figure online, and even opening up the box, I'm still debating whether the head is good or not. But for ages 13 and up, on the side there's a picture of the Man of Steel logo, Play Arts Kai, and on the back the figure featured in several different poses. #2, again, being General Zod. Over 26 points of articulation. If you want to check out more, you can go to www.square-enix-shop.com. And we open up the inside flap here. We've got a picture of Superman on the side there. I'll get into, obviously, the figure when we open that up. The read-up says, in the pantheon of superheroes, Superman is the most recognized and revered character of all time. Clark Kent / Kal-El, Henry Cavill, is a young 20-something who feels alienated by powers beyond anyone's imagination. Transported to Earth years ago from Krypton, an advanced alien planet, Clark struggles with the ultimate question: why am I here? Shaped by values of his adopted parents, Clark soon discovers that having super abilities means making difficult decisions. When the world needs stability, the most of it comes under attack. With his abilities be used to maintain peace or ultimately used to divide and conquer. Clark must become the hero known as Superman, not only to shine as the world's last beacon of hope, but also to protect the ones he loves. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Play Arts Kai Man of Steel #1 Superman. Don't go anywhere, guys. Just definitely stay tuned. There's more on the way. Included with the Man of Steel Superman is the same clear Play Arts Kai display stand that we get with all recent released Play Arts Kai figures. I don't really ever make use of these display bases, but I'm glad that they include them. There you go. Moving that out of the way, you also get yourself with Superman a pair of interchangeable hands, alternate hands to what he's got right now. Right now he's actually got closed fists, but the alternate hands give you the clenched, angry Superman, or completely distraught that somebody, once again, he loves, or he's had to do something that he regrets. Those hands are included, like so. I will probably change the hands out, so I'll show you in a second. Actually, you know what? We'll do it right now. Why not? We'll do it right now. The hands obviously included with Superman are the closed fists. Depending on how you want your Superman, your Man of Steel posed, you can keep it with the closed fist, or you just have to take the hand and I always, again, wiggle it just to pop it off to make sure I'm not going to pull it too hard and do something to the peg, and making sure thumbsies go in. And just going to rotate it while applying pressure. And there you have Superman with his open hands. Looks like he has some serious arthritis. I don't know, his hands, they're all right. They're all right. They look like they're just a little too, mangled. Mangled is a good word, I don't know. All right, so as a whole, the figure is nice. Pretty much from this point down, from the neck down, he is a really good figure. The Play Arts Kai spin on the Man of Steel, similar to the Dark Knight. It's not obviously an exact replica of Henry Cavill. In fact, some luxuries are certainly made, and one of which being the head, which I'll get into in a second. But costume-wise, it looks a lot like the Man of Steel costume. It's a little exaggerated. I mean, he's got a very narrow chest, very large lower legs here, large leg area. He's got, of course, the Superman boots and a really nice Superman cape. You know what? Before we actually look at the figure, let's look at the cape. The paint is nice on the cape, as we get some dark shading going on in the crevices to bring out the creases in the cape itself. It's got the same issue, though, with the Batman. As when you get to the top of the cape, it's just a question of what do we do with that cape to blend it in. Because the idea with the cape is that it should, yes it does have a ball joint that you can rotate back and forth. It's a little stiff just when you immediately get it, but you can rotate the cape left and right on a ball joint. It also does hinge out, and also you can see it unpegs out. But we'll just peg that back into place. Also a little harder to get back pegged in, but the cape does allow you to move it out, and does allow you to move the cape, you know, left and right, although the only problem is it's hinged. So as you saw right there, moving it too far to the side, if it's off that, if the hinge is going the opposite way, you're basically just moving the cape off of that peg. So the cape does move, you know, you can kind of get some blowing action. It is on a ratcheted joint. Luckily I was able to get it back in easily. So as it stands, I like the figure. Now where the big issue comes for me is the head. Now let's have a look at the head. Actually, you know what? We'll just bring the camera up a bit, move the camera in. There we go. That's a better way to do it. The head, surprisingly, camera-wise, and with the way that the lighting is, the face doesn't look as bad in camera as it does in person. With some Play Arts Kai figures, they're very generous in the way of shading. Again, in camera, and probably looking at it on YouTube as you're watching this review, you're probably seeing that the face looks, you know, low lit. There's some areas here where it's got the darker gray, but in person it actually comes across even darker in complexion than what you're getting right here. The likeness of Henry Cavill, I wouldn't say is there. It's an inspired look to Henry Cavill. He's got longer hair as well, which seems a little off to me, but the face is the weakest aspect of the figure. As much as I love the costume, and I think the costume was done well, the face for me is what kind of ruins the figure. He seems like he's got a really long neck too, which lends also to the idea as well that it's more anime-inspired version of Superman. The Dark Knight Batman as well as Bane, I think, also had long necks too. But I don't know, the face could have been better. And I'm wondering if perhaps they had just taken some of that shading off. Like in the forehead, it's this dark. Again, it doesn't look as bad in camera, but in person, he's got this dark gray in the head area, and he's got a real predominant 5 o'clock shadow going on in the lower face area. As for like overall execution of the figure, I think it's done well. I mean, I like the shading. The shading works when you start getting through the costume because the light reflects off, plus you've got the darker shading going on in the torso and lower abdomen area that a lot of the details in the suit really pop. But for me, it's the face. The face just doesn't sell the figure for me. And the face for me, I mean, that makes or breaks a figure. If you've got a really solid figure, but you've got a somewhat of a mediocre face, then that ruins it for me for the figure. I think if you can kind of have maybe Superman with his head down, where you're not going to be seeing as much of the face, it can kind of work. They've also opted to give him a much darker, they've given more of a grayer tone in the hair, where it's not as dark. It's almost got like almost a greenish brown color to the hair, and then they've given him like gray accents in the hair. Kind of makes him just look older. As to why they couldn't have given him black, a darker black hair color, seems strange to me. the way that the cape is rooted in the shoulder area works also, and the Superman S is just, I think they did the Superman S is really nice. I also like the fact that where they have the figure crunch and rotate, they have it right below the symbol, and actually the symbol is what defines where that crunch, where that bend resides. So a really nice touch. In the way of his articulation, Superman, the Man of Steel Superman, has a rotation in the head, moves up and down quite easily, no issues there whatsoever. His shoulders on a hinged ratcheted joint, so they move out. They move forward and back. He has a rotation in the elbow, or in the bicep area. He has a ratcheted hinge in the elbow, which will allow the arms to bend, rotate at the elbow. He has the same ratcheted joint in the hand, so the hand rotates back and forth, also rotates this way as well. As I mentioned, the upper torso crunch. He's got a lower torso crunch, and then the legs are on a ratchet that go forward and back, out, the double bend at the knee, and a ratcheted hinge in the foot, which allows you to also rotate at the feet as well. So another issue that I have is probably something you've seen throughout the course of this review, is the lower torso right around the waist area here. You can see, once again, because PlayArts Kai masks their articulation in the legs, they end up giving you a rubber lower torso. Now, unfortunately, as you see, if you're not careful, the lower leg, the thigh area, seems to continue to catch right around here, and what you end up having is you'll have the thigh sitting outside of the lower underoos there. It's a good figure, but I tell you, it could have been a lot better. And I think what's only killing it for me is not so much the sculpt on the body and the paint in the body, but really of the head sculpt. For me, if I could get him in a pose that just kind of has a real presence to him, you know, where he's going to be taking off, or you know what, even if the head is kind of further down and you have the cape billowing on the side, anything to kind of really mask the flaws in the face, I think the figure works. It's when you get to closer details that you see, okay, the neck is a little long and the face seems just slightly off. And for me, that's enough to kind of take away from this figure. If the head had only been a little bit better, the face sculpt had been a little bit better, I would have been really happy with how this figure turned out. But as it stands, I'm going to give the PlayArts Kai, the #1 Man of Steel Superman, I'm only going to give him a 7. Of the movie property released figures from PlayArts Kai, I think suit-wise, body-wise, he's one of the better ones. Face-wise, he's one of the worst ones. And I thought Kratos from the God of War suffered badly from the additional paint in the face. It takes away from Man of Steel Superman as well. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the PlayArts Kai Man of Steel #1. We're having a look today at Henry Cavill Superman. Weigh your thoughts in down below, guys. If you've picked this figure up, let me know what your thoughts are of this figure. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.